I think it's important to understand the number of people who need to be supporting you as patients or another capacity. And when you know that number of how many people you need to serve, I think it completely changes our frame of how we need to approach this thing we call marketing. So if you look at a 5 mile radius around your office location, and depending on where you are, whether it's more rural or more urban, you might have a couple of hundreds of thousands of people to a couple of million people in that small radius. And when you compare that with the number of people you actually need in order to thrive as a dental practice, that number might be around 1,000 to 1,500 people who are active patients. So that is a minuscule fraction of the entire population who are in a quote unquote competitive driving distance. So if we take the approach of showing up as a dental practice that is average and meant for the hundreds of thousands of people, chances are we're actually going to struggle. We might believe that if we spread a wide net, cast a wide net, try to appeal to everyone, that it's going to be easier for us to attract people, but in fact the opposite is true. That when we become very specific and very meaningful for a smaller group of people, we have a much better chance of creating attraction. Because if we show up just as an average practice that every other practice is showing up as, then there's just simply too much competition. There's too many choices, and we're telling people that, hey, you have all these choices and we're just another choice. We hope you pick us, which isn't a strong strategy when it comes to being picked. A stronger strategy is to choose a very specific and smaller group of people who are more than enough to support you and delight those people. And so when we do the work of identifying who that group is, and if you aren't sure how to do that, check out my course in the description. Completely free course. It'll walk you through most of the major fundamental marketing things that most dental offices don't do. When we go through that process, we end up identifying a group of about 10 to 50,000 people in that small radius who are likely to be aligned with a way of doing dentistry, like a way of being a dental practice that is also meaningful to you. So when you can create that, not only do you create more attraction with those people, those specific people who you've created more meaning for and you can now delight, they can come in and you can get better Google reviews. The experience in the office is going to be smoother and you're going to enjoy it more. The staff is going to find it more fulfilling. The people who come in for consultations are more likely to say yes because there's more alignment already. So when we do this work, there's a lot of benefits that come with it beyond just being able to attract patients. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important to do that work of identifying who you seek to serve and do the work of creating an aligned experience that is there to delight them. The alternative path that a lot of dental offices are taking now is leaning more heavily into advertising of they don't want to change what they are already, so they will just fill in the gaps with more advertising budget. But as we see, advertising gets less effective every day. Increased regulations make it harder for us to track data, to track behavior, and to optimize ads for more profit. The fact that more people are joining this advertising ecosystem means that as ads work as auctions, the margins that we seek to gain, the profit margins, start to diminish. People are now more skeptical than ever of advertisements. When you see a promotion, you're likely to be skeptical. Is that really a discount, or did they just increase the price and say that it's 20% off, 30% off? If it's being advertised to, you're more likely to be adverse to the actual brand that's being promoted at you, and all these sort of factors. So with those trends, advertising, so the two paths we see, one is to fill in the gaps with an advertising budget, the other is to become remarkable and deeply aligned for a smaller group of people. But when we rely on advertising, it just isn't effective anymore. And the results we're seeing there as an ad agency is that it's getting worse. And so that's why I'm promoting this idea and urging dental offices and dental owners to make that transition, to start becoming remarkable for a smaller group of people, to not be afraid anymore of casting a smaller net because it's actually going to be that smaller net that attracts more, that is going to create more alignment, more resonance. And in our new economy now, where people, the individuals, are empowered to share their experiences with things like reviews, things like testimonials, word of mouth is amplified exponentially. When we can create alignment, we also harness that. And now it's not going to be organizations shouting at individuals and telling them what to do. It's going to be the experience of an individual who shares that with others, and it's going to be the individuals who are influencing each other. Then we don't have to worry about the skepticism. Then we don't have to worry about the additional people who are coming on to advertising platforms and so on. So I hope you make that transition. I hope you check out the course. I think you'll find it very valuable. And I hope you guys found this video valuable, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.